Hi everybody, my name's David Dees. I'm a partner at Heald Solicitors in Milton Keynes. I think, there we go. I want to talk about Heald briefly, but also about velocity and what velocity did for us. Firstly, a brief history. Heald's been around a long time in Milton Keynes, but in Milton Keynes that's not very long. We started actually in Chancery Lane over 100 years ago. Very entrepreneurial individual called Dick Swan, some of you in the room may remember him, saw Milton Keynes as a land of opportunity, and of course he was right. So we came to Milton Keynes. We were then an independent practice, independent from what was then Heald Nickinson. There was some growth. And then 2006, for various reasons that I don't need to go into, we, the partners in Milton Keynes, decided that we wanted to run a separate practice. Our practice was distinctive and different from the other parts. So we became a single office in 2006. Like many service businesses, we're facing enormous pressures in the market. Obviously, no one's going to shed a tear for lawyers, but we are a service industry, and service industries are important for the economy. There's huge liberalisation that's gone on. A lot of legal advice can be given by unregulated people. If you want someone to help you with your contracts, you don't need a solicitor. We've heard of Tesco law, where a lot of the services that are normally provided perhaps by high street solicitors are being provided by large multiples. That's a pressure. And then there's consolidation in the market. Bigger firms coming in. There have been numerous mergers in Milton Keynes. Larger firms have come in, swallowed up smaller firms. And it's difficult to play in a pool, swim in a pool where a lot of your competitors are much larger than you. So anyway, that was the situation. 2006, looking good, and then 2008, financial crash. So not so clever. So what were we going to do to survive and then grow? Well, we decided that we would have to focus on commercial work primarily. There isn't really a high street in Milton Keynes. That was our history, so we were going to focus on it. And we wanted to be a little bit innovative. Innovative for solicitors may not amount to very much, but it was a lot for us. First innovation step was to get a very interesting individual called Kevin Window, who is now our managing partner. He's an electrical engineer, not a lawyer. So he was able, and we know, electrical engineers can be very entrepreneurial, as David has illustrated. And he put in a lot of entrepreneurial spirit into the firm. He used to run a factory with 200 people. So having to manage up instead of manage down, so it was a nightmare for him. But that was a really important step. And then we realized that we needed more information technology. I was dealing with a solicitor yesterday who still writes letters. They're in Devon, they don't use email and they write letters. Now, I haven't written a letter in years. And we knew that that's where the market was going. 20 years ago, the large banks, Abbey National, say, as they then were, you'd be able to ring them up and they'd have all the information on the screen. And we used to think, wow, that's amazing, how do they do that? Whereas in my office, you have to ask the secretary to go and get the file where the client's hanging on. So we want to get rid of all that nonsense. So that's where we are today. That's where we wanted to continue to be. We did a survey, wasn't particularly scientific, about what it was that annoyed people about solicitors. And it's not just the bills. The biggest, everyone complains about the bills, but actually the commonest thing was responsiveness. More specifically, accessibility. It wasn't just about whether they would do something, but can I speak to my lawyer? Can I communicate with them easily? And we thought that that was a key point in dragging the business forward and improving it. So we wanted to be accessible. Sorry, that's just another summary of what we wanted to achieve. I'll come on to the slide on the right in a minute because it's relevant. So we had plans, so how we were going to go about doing it. Well, we learnt about Velocity, and Velocity were available to provide some grants. So I'll just talk about those in case you don't know. There was a capital grant and then a revenue grant. So the capital grant, we thought, would be to change the way we operated entirely internally, you'll know that solicitors have to comply with Solicitors' Accounts rules, so they always have a very strong accounts package. But we had an accounts package, we had a management, document management type of system, we had Outlook, and loads of paper files. And we wanted to amalgamate them all to make us more efficient, so that when the call comes in, we can see everything on the screen in one go. So we needed to remove a lot of old technology and get one system in, basically. Velocity helped us to do that. We got a capital grant to do that, and it's been very successful. There are obviously teething troubles with any big IT project, but it's helped us. The second part was a revenue grant. We wanted to carry on making ourselves more and more accessible, and not just accessible to the clients, but it's accessible to everybody. We're like supermarkets in the sense that we want to make it easy for people to buy. We want people to be able to contact us, and we want them to be able to see what we can do. So we got involved with this gentleman over here, John Allard, who is an expert at video production. And we talked about some ideas, and he had this idea of creating effectively a digital marketplace. Kind of a TV channel for lawyers, actually us. So that's what we set about to do. And it would have repercussions because it would improve our SEO, our Google rankings, and make us more accessible, and we'd be able to compete with much larger firms. So we created the Heald Law Academy. We're all very busy trying to service clients' needs, and we needed to make our message more accessible. So we needed to find ways of getting that message across without detracting too much from fee earning. Okay, so that's where we got today. This is revenue grant from Velocity, helped us create this. We have an online portal with large numbers of videos. What we wanted to do was give different types of videos, some short, some longer, searchable, so you can find a topic, so you could search shareholder agreement, you can find something on shareholder agreements. There's also a way of becoming a subscriber by filling in the form so that you then get updates. It's free, and we actually provide an online chat system in office hours. There's a lot of pressure against doing that. I mean, having online chat for solicitors, it's, no, you have to be joking. But we managed to get it through, and there is actually someone in the office who monitors it and does respond. Interestingly, it hasn't produced much commercial work, but we've got notary work. We have a notary in the office who is incredibly successful. Gareth Pobjoy, some of you may know him. He's still doing very, very well. And we found that people who needed documents notarized very quickly, often very quickly, were using the chat. So we were picking up that business that we might otherwise not have got. That's just an example of what the site looks like when you go into it. You can see the topics covered. Have we got time to run one? Just quickly? Yes, we're going to.
Welcome to Heald Law Academy, the place where you can quickly learn how to maximise the value of your businesses and safeguard your commercial and personal interests. I'm joined by David Dees, and we're going to take a look at a sting in the tail that can mean that even after you've successfully sold your business or property, you can be sued by the buyer. David, can you give us a typical scenario that you've met in the past that have led to such consequences for the seller?
Yes, certainly. Take the example of some people who've sold their company. They may have received a large amount of money for it, and they may have retired. So there they are at home in their garden enjoying their retirement, and they get a call from the buyers who want to make a claim against them for something that they've discovered afterwards. This is obviously a terrible shock. They will quickly find out what the problem is, and in the example I'm thinking of, they were...
If you want to know what happened, log in to see the rest. So has this had a benefit to us? Yes, it has. It's improved our rankings enormously. As against an internationally known firm who spend millions, we're doing pretty well, and as against one of our large competitors in Milton Keynes. So it's worked. So the engagement from the public and also our rankings and searchability has improved enormously. It's also affected how people look at the website. It seems to be that they spend more time reading what's on there, which is a good thing. There's what they call bounce rate. So the bounce rate is down and engagement is up. So that's good too. And here are some stats just to support the screenshot of the Google web page. The before is on the left. We weren't really doing anything in social media. And then there's the after. We've leapfrogged a competitor. Apologies to them for using it. This is all publicly available information, I'm told. But of course, Slater Gordon, who do spend an awful lot of money. So we thought it was working. And as we're talking about growth and growing businesses, we are doing some events, and they're on there. How you start up, how you grow and develop, and ultimately sell, if that's what you want to do. Okay, and you can always register on the Heald Law Academy. Thank you.
David, as a lawyer or ex-lawyer myself, I was intrigued. Do you also have the same sort of recruitment issues, or is the legal section more able to cope with that in this particular area?
We do have problems with it. I've described a situation where the law schools are spewing out thousands of legally qualified people who can't get training contracts. It's like going through an eye of a needle. On the other side, where we are, there's a market for well-qualified people, but actually there is a dearth in the market of really good people, and people who've got through that process and been trained can really name their own salary. And I'm talking about commercial, mainly in the commercial sector, the sort of law that helps people in this room, the contracts and acquisition and commercial property and so on. It's really difficult. It's a real struggle. And as we get bigger, of course, we're now competing with larger firms. I mean, I guess that's the same problem that David described with having bigger operations.
Yes.